One of the hardest parts of moving on from a breakup is knowing if or when it's really time to let go. Now, if this is someone you love deeply, then maybe you're holding on to the hope that things could still work out, to the hope that made you believe this person is the only one for you. Or maybe you're scared that letting go means you'll never find a connection like this again, that without this person, you'll be left with a void that no one else can ever fill. But holding on to an ex can keep you from healing, from truly finding peace, and from embracing the life that's waiting for you. So here today, let's talk about the signs that it's really time to let go of your ex, and how this decision can actually open new doors for your own growth and happiness. First, let's acknowledge that letting go doesn't mean you're pretending that person never mattered. It doesn't mean you're erasing them from your memory. Now, it does mean you're starting to free yourself from the past so you can fully embrace a future that's right in front of you now. It's about understanding that loving someone doesn't always mean they're meant to stay in your life forever. So how do you know it's time to let go? Let's start with the first of 5 clear signs. Number 1, when that relationship no longer aligns with your values. Think about what truly matters to you in a relationship. What do you really value? Your values are like your internal compass. They're this voice you're hearing deep down inside of you. This voice that guides you towards a life that's full of love, that feels right for you. Now, be honest with yourself. If you really listen to that voice now, and it's telling you that maybe your ex doesn't align with your core values, then holding on to them means you've been compromising what is truly important to you. This is critical to understand because as you begin to think about that, you might notice values like honesty, growth, or emotional intimacy are things you cannot compromise on. And yet you might have found yourself doing just that to keep the relationship alive. So in this step, I want you to take a moment to turn your awareness inward and begin to reflect on your core values. What are your core values? What do you really need in a relationship to be happy? What do you really need in your life to feel loved? Now, are those values aligned with the relationship you had? I want you to consider what type of person you'd really like to have in your life. Picture having that ideal person with you right now. What would that look like? What would that feel like to have this perfect person in your life? Really see your relationship as you want it to be and write that down. Writing down these values can be a powerful exercise to bring clarity. So grab a journal and write down your top 3 values and how they fit or did not fit into your past relationship. Now, this exercise will help you get a clearer picture of whether holding on aligns with who you are and who you want to be, because sometimes it's as simple as realizing that the relationship you had doesn't fit the person you're becoming. Now, that's a powerful moment of clarity. Sign number 2, if you're reliving the past more than you're focusing on your future. Are you spending more time thinking about what could have been than what could be? When we're trapped in the what ifs, then we're not giving ourselves the chance to look forward. It's like driving while looking into the rearview mirror. It's impossible to move ahead when you're so focused on what's behind you. So if you're constantly replaying old conversations, imagining different endings, or trying to rewrite what has already happened, then you're holding yourself back from a future where you can feel loved again. Now, this doesn't mean you should ignore the past or pretend that relationship didn't exist. It means acknowledging that those memories are part of your story, but not the whole story. If you find that the past is stopping you from exploring new possibilities, then it might be time to let go. Right now, take a moment to imagine your future. Picture a version of yourself who is no longer weighed down by the past. With that weight lifted, what might you do? How might you feel? Who might you be? The more you visualize your future, the more you begin to notice all of the opportunities you're missing by holding on to the past. If you realize you've been reliving the past more than focusing on your future, then it may be time to let go. Now, this naturally brings us to the third sign that it's time to let go of your ex. Sign number 3, when holding on starts affecting your well-being. Letting go is tough, but sometimes holding on can be even harder. The more you cling to the past, the more you'll start to feel lonely, anxious, and abandoned. And the more you start to feel lonely, anxious, and abandoned, the more you begin to wonder if you're even lovable at all. Now, that's a clear sign that your attachment to your ex is not serving you in a healthy way, which means it's critical here to consider how you can take care of your heart. Let go and find the peace that you deserve. Here, it's a good idea to write down all the ways holding on is affecting you. Be honest with yourself. Often seeing it written down will make it easier for you. So as you're doing that, get really clear on how holding on to the past is affecting your mental and physical health. Now, use this as motivation to prioritize your well-being as you consider this next powerful sign. Sign number 4, you realize you've outgrown the relationship. People grow, change, and evolve. Sometimes we can quickly outgrow that relationship. Other times you find it happening slowly, and that's okay. If you look at who you are now compared to who you were in your past relationship, then you may find that you've changed in ways that make connection with your ex feel distant. Now, it's okay to acknowledge that you've grown beyond them. Maybe you're starting to develop new passions, new beliefs, or new dreams, and you realize that the person you were with no longer fits into this new version of you. Now, it doesn't mean that relationship was a mistake. It just means it was okay for who you were at that time in your life. You're not abandoning something good. You're making space for something even better, something that aligns with who you are becoming now, something right for you in just the way you always needed. At this moment, begin to imagine all the ways you might have grown since that relationship. How have you started to change? Now ask yourself, how do these changes make that relationship feel different now? Writing this down can help solidify your understanding of why it's okay to let go. After you've done this, we're going to look at the last powerful sign that it's time to let go of your ex. Sign number 5, when your gut is telling you it's time. We often ignore that quiet inner voice that tells us when something is off, because trusting your gut can be one of the hardest things to do. But this is also one of the most powerful steps you can take. If this voice inside of you is saying it's time to move forward, then listen to it, because your intuition often knows what your mind and heart are still catching up to. Listen for that deep feeling of knowing that staying stuck in the past is holding you back from the freedom and happiness you deserve. Now take a deep breath in, close your eyes, and ask yourself, what is my gut telling me? Listen carefully to this inner voice. Listen to it guiding you. Trust this inner voice. It knows what's best for you. Now spend some time in quiet reflection or meditation and allow yourself to listen without judgment. Letting go doesn't happen overnight, and it's okay to take your time. Remember, just because you're starting to let go, it doesn't mean you're forgetting or dismissing the love you once had. It simply means you're ready to make space for new possibilities, for peace, and for the version of you that's yearning to be discovered. Now trust yourself in this. Trust this voice that guides you. Trust that your heart knows the way. You're stronger than you think, and the happy life you're envisioning is closer than you realize. Now remember, if you haven't yet, to watch all of the videos in this playlist, do the exercises and the meditations at the end of this playlist. And if this message resonated with you, take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments, because you're not alone on this journey. And by sharing, you may just help someone who needs to hear this too. Also, if you found this helpful, please make sure to subscribe, and remember, every step you take is bringing you closer to the peace and happiness you deserve. So thanks for being with me today, and I'll see you in the next video.